Even with these two guys being sent to prison, justice has not been served. I just want to talk about the Stephen Lawrence case. Is it relevant what the sentence is? Personally, I don't think it is at this point. I mean, obviously it's good that we get some justice because a little bit is better than nothing. But there are a lot of things we need to consider regarding this case. I think the retrial and the Macpherson inquiry have been a complete waste of money. They've wasted hundreds of thousands of our taxes to prove something that most of us already know, that there's serious corruption in the Metropolitan Police. I think 4 people were held after this boy was killed, and now 20 years later we've only got 2 people being brought back in the advent of new forms of technology and evidence. It's also been proven that police tampered with this evidence, and yet there have been no arrests of the police, which leads me to the question, who polices the police? None of the forensic scientists or the police officers initially involved in this case will ever stand trial. And it's because of them that murderers have effectively gone 19 or is it 20 years now without being called to justice. I don't know about you, but I think this is insane. I think it's an insult to our intelligence that we're expected to celebrate or be thankful that these 2 guys, who initially were 4, are just being brought to justice. It's equivalent to somebody feeding you bones and expecting you to rejoice like you've been fed a 7-course meal. It's ridiculous. The extent of success we've had with the police being investigated over this is that one police officer resigned, when he was about to retire anyway. A lot of police officers that may have been involved in the rubbish that took place, the miscarriage of justice that took place with this young boy's life, have been promoted and are in positions in the police where they can wreak even more havoc and corruption amongst people. And those that have retired on fat pensions, and they will not taste jail time for their crimes. That's not fair and it's not right. It's very disturbing and scary if you think about it, that in 20 years after these people did what they did, they went on to commit. These guys weren't school teachers and engineers and people who weren't committing crimes. These guys were criminals. They were linked to the Eltham craze. They were basically part of the Eltham craze, and their parents were gangsters. So they were linked to the craze. They had gangsterism in their blood, and they went on to commit and be arrested for many crimes linking to drugs and violence over the period of 20 years after this boy was killed. Yet it never led police to the suspicion that maybe these guys were guilty for the violent crime carried out on young Mr. Lawrence. To make it worse, his friend Dwayne Brooks was a victim of police intimidation. They constantly arrested him on trumped-up charges which never held any weight, just to discredit him because he was a witness. I'm sorry, but that's just pathetic. And with all this, I'm sorry, but 2 people shouldn't be there. There should be a whole group of people. There should be a whole precinct of police officers who are involved in this case standing trial. Why aren't they standing trial? It feels good that these guys are going to prison. But what about justice? We still have these problems. What about Smiley culture? What about Jean-Charles de Menezes? What about Mark Duggan? What justice do they have? What about Babar Ahmed? What justice do these people have? I think it's high time that the police stop being policed. The forensic scientists and the police officers initially involved in this case, to me, are the bigger criminals than the murderers of this boy. Even with these 2 guys being sent to prison, justice has not been served. I really hope that the people involved in the miscarriage of justice are watching this video now. We're not amused, man. Police officers, you need to fix up.